Good afternoon to both of you, Rohan and Shubhankar. I will be dealing with Mother's
Good
Day.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. So, I will be dealing with Mother's Day, chapter number 5 from Snapshots. So, hereby I am about to share the screen. But before that, I will be dealing with the drama analysis. Now, what exactly is Mother's Day all about? That particular thing you should know. Now, it is actually a play that is written in a very light-hearted manner, that is written in a very humorous manner by J.B. Presley. Okay, J.B. Presley is the name of the dramatist. And remember, it is a satirical play, and it is also written in a very humorous way. We can say there is a humorous depiction of the status of the woman, in particular a housewife in a family. Now, what is the message that we are getting from this drama? That yes, we should be always very much caring, we should look after our parents, and most importantly we should take care of our mother. Importance of mother in a family, that is the most important message that we get from this particular drama. Because see, we all know our mother is a housewife, dedicates all her time in the service of her family, but her family takes her service for granted and never take notice of her needs and demands. Now here also the same thing has happened. Mrs. Pearson does everything for her family, but unfortunately her family members never ever takes care of her, and they always take her for granted. That is the most sad part, that she was always taken for granted. The family never acknowledges her services or thank her for all that she does for them. This is something very important. Here also we find that Mrs. Pearson, her full name is Mrs. Annie Pearson, she does everything. Okay, she does everything for her family, but the family members never ever acknowledges her services at all. And obviously she was neglected, she was taken for granted, and she was not given her due importance also in the family. See, everyone neglects her, and this issue is very much prominent and relevant today also. See, J.B. Presley has written it way back in the early phase of the 19th century, but even the condition or the situation of mother is more or less the same even now also. Many houses out there sulk and suffer in silence. Many houses are there where the housewives, they suffer in silence. Okay, and obviously another important thing that I like to share with you, the issue the play raises is genuine. Obviously the problem that the play raises related with the mother, it is very much genuine. The issue can't be set by mere changes of the personality of husbands, sons and daughters. In order to give wives and mothers the praise they deserve, the family needs to give them the desired attention. See, one or two characters will change, that won't happen. The entire family should give the support. Okay, because what the mothers, what the housewives, what they need attention, they need the support of the entire family. One or two characters will change, they will try to modify themselves, they will try to behave properly. That is not the ultimate solution. The entire family should stand by the mother or by the housewife, and entire family should support, then only it will get the desired attention. Okay, now see,
Yes.
this particular drama, okay, this particular drama we have actually some important characters. The first important character is definitely Mrs. Pearson. Okay, then obviously the next important character is George Pearson, then we have Cyril Pearson, and we have Doris Pearson. Now Doris is the daughter, Cyril is the son, George is the husband. Mrs. Pearson, she is the main character because the drama revolves around her, and obviously one more character is
Yes,
there.
sir.
Okay, if we don't mention her name, okay, then ultimately this drama will be incomplete. And what is her name?
Yes,
It is, yes, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Yes, absolutely right.
sir.
Yes, Mrs. Fitzgerald is the name of that particular character. Okay, so let us move on. if the microphone is on, you can off it for a time being. Okay, and if you want to answer or ask anything, then at that moment you can on it. Okay, now see, on a daily basis her kids disrespect and disregard her. I told you already, she excessively pampered her children, and that was the reason her children disrespect her, they disregard her also. And also in her own home she was treated as a slave. This is something very, very important. She was considered as a maid servant, she was considered as a housemaid, she was considered as a caretaker. Okay, because every other members of the family, they are busy with their life, they don't have any time to actually gossip with her, they don't have any time to be with her, okay, to look after her. So she was disappointed, but remember one thing, she never ever protested as such. Okay, it was Mrs. Fitzgerald only who performed that magic that ultimately changed the mentality of Mrs. Pearson's family members. Okay, obviously she received a lot of ignorance and embarrassment each and every time from her daughter Doris and her son Cyril, and obviously George Pearson, her husband, haven't ever provided her any sort of attention whatsoever. Okay, now it was actually Mrs. Fitzgerald only who performs the magic, and we know that there is an exchange of personalities. That means Mrs. Fitzgerald became Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Pearson became Mrs. Fitzgerald. Okay, now let us move on to the text. I am about to show you the text right now, so it will be visible, don't worry. Yes, I hope it is visible, and I hope you can see it. It is visible? Okay, fine. So I will be scrolling a bit, and I will be starting from page number 47. So just hold on, it is page number 38, so I have to scroll a bit. Okay, just a minute, it might take a bit of time. It is page number 40. So now I am moving on to page number 47. Yes, now I already told you the characters that we find here. Now I am moving on to the text, and already a part of the lesson I did in the class. So I will be starting from page number 47. Okay, just a minute, let me search that page. It is still 40. This part already I did. Okay, just wait. 47. Yes, from this part I will be starting. So as you know, the personalities change bodies. So Mrs. Pearson became Mrs. Fitzgerald, and Mrs. Fitzgerald became Mrs. Pearson. Okay, and obviously not only there was an interchange, but their body language, their mannerisms, there was a change in that also. Okay, that means Mrs. Fitzgerald, she was a bit rowdy, she was short tempered, outspoken, always outspoken, and she used to protest. But Mrs. Pearson, she was very calm and docile. Now after that magic that was performed by Mrs. Fitzgerald, we find that Mrs. Pearson became dominating and Mrs. Fitzgerald became calm and docile. The simple reason is that there was an exchange of personalities. Not only we find an exchange of personalities, we also find in this particular drama, we also find that their behavior, their habits, their mannerisms, these things are also imbibed by the respective characters. Now as you know that George Pearson, he was referred in the club as Pompey Pearson. Okay, he was referred at the club as Pompey Pearson, and this particular secret was exposed, and that was the reason he was terribly upset, very upset. and Mrs. Pearson, as you know, it was Mrs. Fitzgerald, so her way of talking was different from that of Mrs. Pearson, and that was the reason the son, the daughter, even George Pearson himself, they are very much surprised and they were bewildered, or rather to say in other words, they were shocked also. Okay, now see, it is written, George enters left glumly. I might skip some lines, only the important portions I will be dealing with you. So I hope it is clear to you up to how much I had discussed. Okay, thank you for your feedback. Now let's move on. He moves to the armchair, left sits down heavily and glumly lights his pipe. Now he is very upset because already he is insulted, humiliated in front of his son. Now see, the rest of the three characters, okay, that means George, Cyril and Doris, they were totally unaware of the fact that this is not their mother or this is not his wife, because already the magic was being performed, but they were not present at that time. So regarding that personalities, interchange of personalities, they are totally unaware of it. They don't know about it at all. So now let us move on. Now at this moment only, Mrs. Fitzgerald, she had entered, and she was actually Mrs. Pearson, okay, deep inside. So George, as you know that already there is a quarrel in the house, so at this time if a visitor enters, obviously George will be upset. Here also we find that George is very upset. So look what he is saying. Just looked in for a minute, I suppose, Mrs. Fitzgerald. I think you came just to say hi, and after that I guess you will be going, right? Now Mrs. Fitzgerald, as you know that she was Mrs. Pearson from inside. Now she is totally nervous, okay, and as I told you that not only personalities change bodies, but their behavior, their mannerism also, it also got changed. So obviously Pearson was the one who actually was very nervous. Now since there is an interchange, now Fitzgerald became nervous, okay, and Pearson, she became dominating, okay, she became aggressive, outspoken, and not only that, she became more violent also. Now George and the others, they don't know about this, so in the course of the conversation it turned very much funny, or rather to say, in the course of the conversation it turned hilarious, okay. So see what Mrs. Fitzgerald is saying. Well, yes, I suppose so, George. Yes, I will be leaving right now. I just came to say hi, or I just came to see how you all are doing and all this. Now George is very angry. Now why George is very angry? The reason is that the lady from the neighborhood by the name of Mrs. Fitzgerald, she referred to George as George. Now that was the reason George was very unhappy. Mrs. Fitzgerald, oh, I am sorry. Mrs. Pearson impatiently, what does it matter? Your name is George, isn't it? Who do you think you are? Duke of Edinburgh. Now as we know, interchange of personalities. Now if that is understandable, then the drama will be very much clear to you. And most importantly, the dialogues are very hilarious, but very meaningful, and obviously it gives a social message also. But in order to understand it fully, we have to know about that particular interchange of personalities. Now if that portion is clear, then obviously this drama will be humorous, okay. But remember, underneath the humor lies the very important message. And what is the message that we get? That we should actually give due importance to the mothers and housewives of the family, because tirelessly they keep on working for our family in order to make us smile, in order to make us comfortable. It is our responsibility also that we should take care of them. That in the introduction part I had told you that what is this drama all about. But it seems that the characters, the other three characters like George, Cyril and Doris, they never ever had taken so much care okay, of Mrs. Annie Pearson, and it seems that they had taken her for granted, and she was a failure as a mother and she was a failure as a wife. Okay, why she was a failure as a mother? Because she haven't taught her children good moral values, and that was the reason they don't know how to behave with the senior people. It seems that they haven't learned any good manners. What they had acquired vices, not virtue. So from that perspective, she was a failure as a mother, and obviously failure as a wife, because obviously George used to stay outside during the evening time. She couldn't convince George to stay in the house because at the back of her mind she always had a fear. Okay, what was the fear? That obviously if she will speak up, that will give rise to a quarrel that she never wanted. Okay, that she never wanted to happen, and that was the reason she never told anything. Okay, so now let me just scroll it. So now, as you know, Mrs. Fitzgerald is Mrs. Pearson, but from outside she is Mrs. Pearson. Deep inside, because of the magic interchange of personalities, we can say deep inside Mrs. Pearson is Mrs. Fitzgerald and Mrs. Fitzgerald is Mrs. Pearson. Okay, so now she is saying, what does it matter? Even you will find that when Mrs. Pearson, she will be uttering her dialogue, there is some sort of politeness in it. But when Mrs. Pearson, she is uttering the dialogue, it is very rough and rude. Okay, I hope by this time it is clear to you. See, here it is written, what does it matter? Your name is George, isn't it? Who do you think you are? Duke of Edinburgh. That why everyone should be always aware of your personality. Who do you think you are? Are you a member of the royal family? Are you the Duke of Edinburgh that we can't call you by your name? What wrong she told? She told you, she referred to you as George. Are you King George? Are you the George, the Duke of Edinburgh? So why you are overreacting to that extent? That is what Mrs. Pearson, that is from inside Mrs. Fitzgerald, told George Pearson. Now George, obviously from the very beginning, he felt insulted, and remember, till now, up to this moment, he haven't behaved angrily, but now he is getting a bit angry. See here, what's he got to do with it? Just tell that. And isn't it bad enough without her calling me George? No tea, Pompey Pearson and poor Doris has been crying her eyes out upstairs. Yes, crying her eyes out. Now George summed up the entire situation the moment he arrived inside the house. Now, and remember one thing, as we will move on, because this page is completed, we will be moving on to page number 48, 49 after that. You will find that many of the dialogues of George Pearson's are very repetitive in nature. That means he repeated many things, okay, in the same way that now he is repeating, and later you will find that these words or these dialogues are repeated later also. Now here George is saying that no tea was ready, and obviously about that Pompey Pearson, the people at the club calls him by that name. Okay, that was revealed. Poor Doris been crying. Okay, that was also been revealed by George, and obviously he told it in front of the next door neighbor, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Now I am moving on, I am scrolling. Is this page visible to you? Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So let us move
Yes, sir.
on. Okay. So now Mrs. Fitzgerald, oh dear, I ought to have known. Now, George, he noticed one thing, that his wife is getting less sentimental, less emotional, less anxious, less concerned. But in comparison to his wife, Mrs. Fitzgerald is found to be more concerned about him. and we find her to be more concerned later related to George's son and daughter. That was something very surprising, because George, as I told you, he along with the others, they are completely unaware of this interchange of personalities, and that was the reason George was surprised, and they won't know that one. Even at the very end also we find that the characters, they assembled all around Mrs. Pearson, and she looked very happy, but the characters, they don't know anything regarding the magic spell, regarding the interchange of personalities, or personalities change bodies. Okay, the other three characters, as I repeated earlier, George, Doris and Cyril, they practically have no knowledge regarding all this. Okay, now see the dialogue. You ought to have known. Why ought you to have known? Nothing to do with you, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Look, we are at 6s and 7s here just now, so perhaps you will excuse us. Okay, you have nothing to do with this. You are an outsider, you are the next door neighbor. This is a problem, this is a quarrel that happened inside the house. 6s and 7s. Here it is related with a state of conflict. It is a state of conflict and disorder. So obviously you can excuse us, because the situation inside the house is not good, in the sense that there was quarrel and there will be quarrel later. So I hope you can excuse us. But Mrs. Fitzgerald, who was inside Mrs. Pearson, she had some other plans. See, and before Mrs. Fitzgerald, who was actually Mrs. Pearson, before she could reply, okay, she was been stopped. Okay, before she could reply, Mrs. Pearson, she is replying. See, I won't excuse you, George Pearson. Next time a friend and neighbor comes to see me, just say something when you see her. Good evening, or how do you do, or something, and don't just march in and sit down without a word. It's bad manners. Now this is another insult. We say no, insult to injury. It is like that. Now again Mrs. Fitzgerald, who was inside Mrs. Pearson, went on insulting George, went on humiliating George Pearson by saying that next time when a friend or a neighbor will come, before you come and sit inside the living room, I should suggest you that you should use some of your etiquettes or manners. You should say how good evening or how do you do and all this. Don't just sit like this. It is totally bad manners. You should not do that. Now this is more insult to George. Okay, George haven't thought that on one particular evening so much of insult he had to endure. Okay, now Mrs. Fitzgerald, as you know, it is Mrs. Pearson, she nervously told no, it's all right. But we know Mrs. Fitzgerald is on a mission. Okay, and obviously that was the reason she did the magic. And now she look at her dialogue, but obviously she is referring to it. But we have to mention Mrs. Pearson, because she is inside Mrs. Pearson. Her mannerisms and everything are her own, but obviously she is inside the body of Mrs. Pearson. So, and obviously Mrs. Pearson's mannerisms are Mrs. Pearson's own, but she is inside the body of Mrs. Fitzgerald. That is the reason we can say personalities change bodies, or interchange of personalities with the help of the magic. Okay, now let's move on. See what Mrs. Pearson is saying. She is furious. By the way, she is livid with anger. It isn't all right. We will have some decent. What is the meaning of decent? Polite, good manners in this house, or I will know the reason why. Now Mrs. Pearson, as we know, it is Mrs. Fitzgerald. She is saying that no, everyone should talk politely with everyone else. There should be some decent manners in this house, or obviously I will know the reason why decent manners are not being in the house. So I will get to know the reason why. So everyone should behave properly. That was what her main motto. Her main motto was to counsel the family members, give them a taste of their own medicine, and at the very end, okay, obviously to rectify them. Mental rectification, that we can call. So he wanted them to rectify. Now see, George is getting very upset and already he is also furious. Well, what? Mrs. Pearson, why don't you get off to your club? Special night tonight, isn't it? Now why you are here in between us? I and Mrs. Pearson will be gossiping right now. And why you are waiting? You are in a hurry before, the moment you entered and you told that there is a special snooker match tonight. Obviously, there will be drinking also in the party. And obviously, you will be given dinner also. So why the hell are you waiting here? You should be in the party, right? Don't disappoint them because you are a laughing stock. And they call you Pompey Pearson behind your back. Okay, not only your friends, the guests, but even the bartenders, they all feel very happy the moment you enter. So don't disappoint them. Please go. Now, this thing was told. Now, George is very upset. George never would have taken it seriously if it would have been within the family. But when you are saying all these things in front of the neighbor, and that is also Mrs. Pearson inside the body of Mrs. Fitzgerald, but for George it is Mrs. Fitzgerald because he was unaware of the magic. So definitely George was very angry, disappointed also. And so please underline in your text, and here I am highlighting this part I am talking about. Please highlight this one. Why don't you get off to your club? Special night tonight, isn't it? They will be waiting for you. The club members, the bartenders, everyone will be waiting for you. Don't disappoint them. Please move to the club. George, that's right. Make me look silly in front of her now. Okay, you are making me looking silly in front of her. You should know that she is our neighbor. Okay, make me look silly in front of her now. Go on, don't mind me. 6s and 7s, please underline. So again, as I told you, the dialogues of George are very repetitive by nature. As I already referred to you earlier, I hope you remembered, while I was discussing the previous page, at that time only I told you that the dialogues are very much repetitive by nature, and we find it here also that 6s and 7s, this dialogue already he had referred. Again he is referring to the same dialogue. Okay, and obviously poor Doris have been crying her eyes out. This is also a repetitive one because already it has been repeated earlier. Getting the neighbors in to see the fun. Now George is saying that fine, previously you insulted us, and the quarrel was confined within the four walls of the house. Now obviously a neighbor came. Now you are insulting me in front of the neighbor. What exactly you are trying to do? You are actually trying to make me funny in front of her. And obviously after saying that, George for the very first time became furious and he lost his temper and went on shouting at Mrs. Pearson. All right, let her hear it. What's the matter with you? Have you gone barmy or what? Okay, again the same dialogue. Okay, now this dialogue was not repeated by George Pearson earlier, but the same inquiry was been made by Cyril and Doris, and that was that, mom, whether you have hit your head while you were about to climb down from the stairs? Did you had a concussion? So similar questions were asked by George, but George didn't knew that already his son and his daughter had jointly inquired. At that time Mrs. Fitzgerald inside the body of Mrs. Pearson haven't told anything, but right now she is very furious. See, if you shout at me again like that, George Pearson, I will slap your big fat silly face. Now this is too much. Now what Mrs. Fitzgerald inside Mrs. Pearson, as we know, Mrs. Fitzgerald's real nature is getting reflected in this dialogue. That is her real nature. That she was very short tempered, and she is saying that if you don't stop talking right now, I will slap your big fat silly face. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald, oh no, please don't do that. Now George is staring at them, and George was very surprised because the neighboring lady by the name of Mrs. Fitzgerald went on calling his wife as Mrs. Fitzgerald, and that actually led George surprised that why are you calling my wife? Why the hell are you calling my wife by your own name? Okay, you should know her name, right? See, so why are you telling yourself to stop when you are not doing anything, and why you are referring to yourself that Mrs. Fitzgerald stop? You are not doing anything. It is my wife who is doing all these things. Tell her to stop. Then there would be some sense in it. You tell her. Now you are mentioning your name. That Mrs. Fitzgerald, please stop. Okay, actually we can't make we can't consider Mrs. Pearson to be wrong, because obviously she knew about the magic, and we know that deep inside Mrs. Pearson it is Mrs. Fitzgerald, but George and the rest of the company, they don't know about it, right? And that is the reason George is very, very surprised. Okay, now that is the reason George even told, okay, that Mrs. Pearson, that I think you are drunk. That is the reason you are saying all these illogical things. Now listening to this, Mrs. Pearson became like an active volcano. Okay, and obviously she is very much eager to hate George, but somehow their quarrel was pacified, and of course we find that Doris enters. Okay, and Doris enters left. I told you, and you know previously, right, left and center, these things are related with the stage direction, and we find a conversation. But remember one thing, Doris, her behavior towards the elders, it was not good, and it seems that she was always rude, very, very rude when it comes to talking with senior people. Just like her brother also, her behavior was also very rude. See, Mrs. Fitzgerald is saying, I thought you were going out with Charlie. Now this disappointed Doris, because Doris was always very upset, because Mrs. Fitzgerald inside the body of Mrs. Pearson, as you know, criticized her. Not only she criticized her, but she criticized about her boyfriend Charlie Spencer, mentioning him to be buck-teeth and half-witted. Now see, it isn't all right, and obviously that is the reason Doris is saying, what's that to do with you, ma'am? It is my personal thing. What exactly this thing has to do with you? Now Mrs. Pearson is saying, stop that. No, it's all right, it's all right. Okay, now Mrs. Pearson severely means sternly, with lot of strictness. Okay, see this line. It isn't all right. I won't have a daughter of mine talking to anybody like that. Now answer Mrs. Fitzgerald properly, Doris, or go upstairs. This is a very important line, and hereby I am highlighting it. We know that this dialogue never can be told by Mrs. Pearson in reality, but Mrs. Fitzgerald is making the impossible possible. What she is saying, that don't cry here. If you want to seriously cry, go upstairs, and if you want to stay here, then talk properly, behave properly with my friend by the name of Mrs. Fitzgerald. Now obviously Doris was so surprised that he looked at her father, thinking that her father would save or will come to her rescue. But when she stared at George, George was looking very helpless. And see what George is saying, I give it up. I just give it up. Don't look at me like that. I had given it up. Now whatever your mother will say, that will be here. Now Mrs. Pearson fiercely, well, answer her, Doris. I was going out with Charles Spencer tonight, but now I have called it off. Now Doris is behaving properly. Previously, when she uttered that dialogue, it was a very rude one. But now when she is uttering the dialogue, it was very politely she is uttering it. Now she is saying that yes ma'am, I was supposed to go out with my boyfriend Charles Spencer, but now I had called it off. Okay, I had totally postponed it. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald, oh what a pity dear, why have you done that? Doris, now obviously again, now Doris will go on accusing Mrs. Pearson, but she was totally unaware of the fact that though she was accusing Mrs. Pearson, who was supposedly her mother, but actually deep inside it was not her mother, it was Mrs. Fitzgerald. See, my mother's been going on at me, making me feel miserable. Me making means my mother is actually making me feel miserable. She has totally broken my heart. Okay, and not only that, she insulted me, and she related with my boyfriend Charles Spencer, whom she had referred as buck-teeth and half-witted. Please underline, very, very important, this to words are. Okay, now Mrs. Fitzgerald, and much to the surprise of Doris and George, they found out that the neighborhood lady by the name of Mrs. Fitzgerald, she had a lot of compassion towards them. And that is the reason, she is saying, oh, you shouldn't have said that. Now we know that Mrs. Fitzgerald is Mrs. Pearson actually, but they don't know. I am referring to Doris, George and Cyril. They don't know anything as such about it. Okay, and even at the very end also, even when the drama will end, they will remain unaware of this truth, or they will remain unaware of this secret. Now, Mrs. Pearson, Mrs. Fitzgerald, I will manage my family. You manage yours. You don't have to give me suggestions. Let me manage my own family and you manage yours. Now, Mrs. Pearson, but before that there is a dialogue of George being given, tickling her off now. Are you Annie? Mrs. Annie Pearson right now. They are waiting for you at the club, George. Don't forget, and don't you start crying again, Doris. Now Mrs. Pearson, it seems that she had subsided a bit. Now obviously her anger has reduced a bit, died down a bit, but still she is very upset. She is saying that they are waiting for you at the club. So don't forget, and don't you start crying again, Doris. Okay, if you seriously want to cry, then you go upstairs and cry. Don't cry here in front of a guest. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald, now obviously she can't take it any longer, because obviously she had an unconditional love attachment with her family members. No matter they don't take care of her, no matter they take her for granted, but she, from her own perspective, from her own side, used to love her family members unconditionally. That is something very important for you all to know. That's enough, quite enough. Okay, it's enough. Now obviously the way she behaved, that's enough, quite enough. George and Doris, they both stared at her bewildered, because she was showing the intensity, she was showing the anxiety, she was showing the caring mentality, she was showing that she really felt for them by her nature and her attitude. Now this particular time, when it was unbearable for her, because she used to genuinely love her family members a lot. Now when she is seeing in front of her very eyes that the lady from the next door, who knows a bit of magic and who was very outspoken and short-tempered in nature, by the name of Mrs. Fitzgerald, she is actually insulting and harassing her family members, she can't take it for long, and that was the reason she decided to speak up, and that was the reason this dialogue has been told. That's enough, quite enough. Okay, now after this, after she uttered this dialogue, George and Doris, both the father and the daughter, went on staring at her, totally bewildered, because they are totally shocked what is happening, because from George's point of view, her wife is not paying her any attention. From Doris's point of view, her mother is criticizing her, and also along with that her boyfriend. But the most interesting fact is that Mrs. Fitzgerald, the next door neighbor, because they don't know about the interchange of personalities, that is the reason, that is adding humor to this, or J.B. Priestley is adding a humorous touch to this with that particular interchange of personalities and the dialogues that follows after that. That is as a result of that, since they were unaware of this, they can't consider Mrs. Fitzgerald to be Mrs. Pearson, because they don't know about the interchange, about the magic and all this. So that is the reason when Mrs. Fitzgerald stood up and told Mrs. Pearson, that's enough, quite enough, George and Doris, they both went on staring at her, they both went on looking at her, totally bewildered, totally shocked, because the same intensity was found missing in Mrs. Pearson, but the same intensity surprisingly can be found in case of Mrs. Fitzgerald. Now that was the point at which the daughter and the father, they were both shocked and bewildered. Okay, so that is all. Thank you for attending the class. I hope whatever been taught, it is understandable. See you again and have a nice day. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Shubhankar. Thank you.